Welcome. My name is Abby Marsh, and I'm the Executive Director of the Life Crisis Center. We'd like to introduce you to our Why campaign. This campaign is a campaign to focus on domestic violence and shifting the focus from the victim to the abuser. Frequently, we see in language a tendency to focus on the victim and ask, why does she stay? Instead of focusing on the abuser and asking, why does he abuse? This series of videos by our Life Crisis Center staff will attempt to address some of the many reasons why a victim may stay. Domestic violence is a pattern of coercive, controlling behavior that can include physical assault, psychological or emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or financial abuse. There are many reasons why a victim may not leave. This is why we challenge you to shift the focus, have a better understanding of why a victim may stay, and stop asking that question and ask, why does the abuser abuse?
I grew up in a pretty healthy, happy childhood. My parents did divorce when I was 6, but they were always civil, even loving and caring towards one another. I say that because I feel like it was my lack of exposure to unhealthy, toxic, abusive relationships that I was ill-prepared when I found myself in one. I didn't know how to recognize it, what the signs were, how to handle it, what resources there were for me. So I think that had a lot to do with the duration of the relationship, why I stayed as long as I did. He was very charismatic, very charming. They always are. You don't fall in love with an abuser. But the jealousy and the control, at first I mistook that for flattery. I soon realized it was excessive. And as typical domestic abusive relationships are, things escalate. So there's isolation of friends and family. It was going through my phone, taking keys. Every argument got worse and worse. He would start throwing things and destroying property, mostly mine. And then the physical began, but it was more of holding me down, not letting me leave, hiding my keys in my phone, pushing, maybe shoving to block my way. And he really wanted me to get pregnant, which is, now that I know, another sign of control and stuff. But I didn't have kids. And I'm an advocate now, and it's one of the biggest barriers of leaving is the kids. So sometimes they think it's best to be with the father. Sometimes they can't leave the state because custody and visitation wouldn't let them. So they stay. It's financial when you have kids. Kids make this a lot harder to be mobile and to leave. And he would always say, if we had an argument, it's like, I never hit you, I would never hit you. And it was weird because he didn't. So I think he minimized it, but also I kind of internalized, well, he never hit me, and it's kind of like my own denial. Well, it wasn't as bad as maybe I thought. And then there was me marrying him, being married, thinking that I should stay or try everything possible to make it work. And so there was many reasons why I stayed. And then when it came closer to me, I felt like he realized I was on my way out. It got scary. Not only threatening me, but what he could do with my family. And so it took a lot of safety planning, and I was lucky. I had a supportive family. And I did leave, finally, but this wasn't easy. It was the hardest thing I ever did. But I left, and I didn't just leave. I didn't feel like I could just go move somewhere else or go home to my mom. I felt I wasn't safe doing that. In order for me to be safe, I felt I had to leave the state, and that's what I did. I like to bring that up because I realize, in a way, although it was extremely hard, it's never easy. I was a lot more fortunate than others to have the resources that I did, a supporting family, the means to move, no kids and no property. So I think that's a lot to do with why I'm an advocate now, because I realized I kind of was one of the lucky ones, so to speak, and I'd like to help others that are in a similar situation now.
Thank you for taking the time to educate yourself about domestic violence through Life Crisis Center's series of videos in the Why campaign. We hope that you will take this information back into the community and you will help shift the focus back to where it belongs, on the abuser. If you're a victim of domestic violence, or even if you have questions about whether you're a victim of domestic violence, you can contact Life Crisis Center at 410-749-HELP. That's 410-749-4357.